In this video, I'm going to talk about one more cool thing that you can do using GetElementById. First, I'm going to go over a couple of things that you should already be a little bit familiar with, and then I'm going to talk about one new thing using GetElementById to get information out of a text box. So first, let's see what we have. I have a picture of a light bulb that is off, and you can see that I have it right here. I have an image with an ID. You've seen this before. An image tag with an ID. The source of the image is called off.png, and of course that's my light bulb off, and I can click on it right there. Picture of the light bulb off. I also have a picture of the light bulb on. Yeah, right there. Pretty cool, huh? All right, great. So, and then I have a paragraph with an ID called out, and initially when I run the program, it'll start with the word off right there, and you can see it right there, just like the picture is the picture of the light bulb off. And here I have a button, and when I click the button, it's going to run my function, right? Button on click, light switch. It'll run the function called light switch right down there. And this function will change the source. I'm using document.getElementById light. That's the ID of my light right there. It'll change the source of the image to on. Yeah, so it'll be the on bulb. And it's going to change what's in between the HTML tags also to the word on, right? So these are both GetElementById, but just reminding you again, if it's an image, it's .source, and if it's something that I want to change in between HTML tags, I use the inner HTML. So if I run this thing, well, of course it starts out off with the light bulb off, and if I click it, yeah, pretty cool, huh? The light bulb turns on and it says the word on. All right, let me add a little bit to this code. So now I have added some code which will allow me to turn the light bulb back off after it is on. So let's take a look at it. Now this top part is exactly the same. Here I have a function called light switch, but this time in the beginning I'm getting the value that's at the ID called out. So I'm getting what's in between my out tag right here, and it begins by being off, and I'm putting that into a variable called light. Notice I'm doing that inside the function, right? So every time I run the function, it's just getting whatever value is in between my ID, my paragraph ID out right there, and it's putting it into this variable called light. And then I'm saying if light is off, then, and you know what this does, of course, it turns the light on by showing the on picture, and it writes the word on in between my little tags right there. Else, it shuts the light back off, right? It displays the off picture, PNG, and it displays the word off right there. So let's run it. It's very exciting. So I'm going to run it, and you can see the light switch is initially off, and I'll switch it. It's on, and if I click it again, it goes back off. Pretty nifty, huh? So nothing too much new here. It's just a little bit more with using document.getElementById, and you can see sometimes you use the word source, sometimes you use inner HTML, depending on what element on the page you're trying to change. Let's look at one more awesome thing that you can do using GetElementById, and there will be other things as well. So here on the page, I've added a text box, and this is new to you, and the text box, here's the format for it right here. It says input type text. Yeah, it's a text box. And it also has an ID, and the ID is called name, and it has a size, and I gave it a default value, Bob. And you can make the size of the text box anything you want. I could make it size 10, for example, and you can see it made it a little bit smaller. This is where you could put a default value, or I don't have to. I could no default there if I don't want one, but I'll put Bob in there. Why not? Okay, so Bob is my default value. And I added another button, say hello, and you can see that when I click the button, say hello, it runs a function called hi, and I'm going to output something to this other paragraph ID out1. All right, so here's my function called hi. Now the first thing it does is it gets the information that's in this text box right here. Well, how does it do it? Well, the name of this text field, the ID, is name. So I'm saying document.getElementById name.value. Yeah, .value is how you get something out of an input type text. I know there's all these different, there's .source, there's .inner HTML. Well, to get something out of a text box, you have to say .value. All right, so I'm putting the value that's in this text box, into a variable in my function called your name, and then I'm just going to output to out1 hello, your name. I'm going to run this. It's going to be very exciting. Yeah, hello, Bob. Just to show you that it works with any name, I could put Haas there and run it again. Hello, Haas. Yeah, pretty cool. So document.getElementById, boy, you can modify a lot of things in your document. You can modify things in between HTML tags. You can modify input type text or modify images, as you saw as well. All right, you're going to need to be able to get information out of a text box for your next project. All right, thanks so much for watching.